In this little video, I'd like to talk to you about crazy love. You know that feeling that just fills you up with energy and excitement and makes you feel like life is so good and wonderful. I want to give you 4 aspects of how to have that kind of crazy love in your life. And the very first thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to use a little passage here out of Mark 14 and verse 3, which is where Mary anointed the feet of Jesus with 300 denarii worth of oil. And my point is here, as it was not logical at all. People did not look at what she did with that oil and think, oh, that makes perfect sense. Crazy love is not logical. It's a little bit over the top, and people look at you sometimes and wonder what you're thinking because it just doesn't make sense to worldly minded people. Now, people who understand crazy love and the spiritual love that we can experience, they'll get it. They'll go, oh yeah, I know what's going on here. But other people are going to look at you and think, I'll tell you what they're going to do, as our second point, is they are going to think that you lost your mind. They are going to think you have gone crazy. What are you thinking pouring out 300 denarii worth of oil on the feet of Jesus? What are you thinking that you can make a difference in the world? What do you think you're going to do by traveling maybe to some other country on a missionary journey? Are you nuts? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? That's when you know that you're in this category of crazy love, when people are looking at you like you have totally lost it. Now, don't get too far out there crazy on me, because some things would be just outright irresponsible. But at the same time, there are those great things that the average person looks at and goes, yeah, you've got to be kidding. And God looks down and says, yeah. That's my servant right there. That's the person I'm glad to see. Now, another thing about crazy love is you have to remember it is a verb. It is not just totally something that you just sit around and feel. Now, you do feel it, and it's a wonderful feeling to have a heart that's just bubbling up with this kind of love, but there has to be some action. If your love is not moving you to take some actions, and I'm going to say some kind of illogical actions as far as the world's concerned, if it's not causing you to step out of your comfort zone and press yourself, press your envelope, you don't have crazy love. Yeah, you have an okay love maybe, it may be kind of a love, but it's not crazy love. And it's that crazy love that makes your life so full of energy and carries you on further and further as you keep going. And so then you're going to keep building on this. And obviously what flows out here is just that you're going to serve. Let's use Acts 20 and 35, where he says it's more blessed to give than receive. This is what your love is going to push you into. You can't have a heart just oozing full of crazy love and sit still on a pew and do nothing. You can't have this heart bubbling up with crazy love and sit around and have a mouth that says nothing, speaks nothing, tells the gospel to no one. No, somehow, some way in your life, and that's kind of up to you really, but somehow, some way in your life, your crazy love is going to move you to be sacrificial. That's what, look what Christ did. Was that crazy or what? Well, you go, well, preacher, that's a little disrespectful. Christ carrying his cross to Calvary, no, you can't call that crazy. Yes, I can. That was crazy love. That was love that the world did not understand. It was not logical. It was definitely over the top. It was action. It was a verb. It was an act of service. And he poured his life out on Calvary, a sacrifice for us. And that is what we do. Romans 12:1. Present your body a living sacrifice. And you don't think like the world. In verse 2, he says we're going to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And that's what we do. We change our mind to think like Jesus. I know it's 1 Corinthians, and it's chapter 11, verse 1, where Paul says, imitate me as I also imitate Christ. And Paul would later say in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 1 that he wants us to imitate God. We're not supposed to blend in with the world. We are the church. We've been called out of the world, and the world is supposed to look at us and say, well, that's a peculiar people. Those people are odd. Now we're getting into crazy love. And when you get there and you start cultivating and developing in your life, that's when you start experiencing a forward joy that just keeps pulling you forward, deeper, deeper, higher and higher, and you're like, yeah, this is the life I want to live. So that's a lot to think about. It's pretty deep, but you can have that crazy love in your life. You can have, you can have the joy of that crazy love in your life, and you can move on to that higher ground joyfully, experiencing life with a deeper and deeper satisfaction. So I know we covered a lot. That probably leaves you with some questions. So put your questions below. Anything you need a little clarification about, you just want to share a comment, put that below. We'll have a little conversation. And as always, have a great day.